Hey, what's up, everyone? Nurse Jar here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please click that subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video and all of my other videos, especially if they have been helpful to you. You liking my videos will help my channel become more recognizable here on YouTube and in Google. If you'd like to be notified whenever I upload new content, you can go ahead and ring that notification bell. Guys, in this video, I'll be demonstrating the Prometric Testable Skill Catheter Care. Remember, I'm coming at y'all with these newly updated 2023 training videos. So show me some love. Show me some love and hit that like button. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go over some of the most commonly forgotten or omitted steps and some of the most incorrectly performed steps for this skill. Now, one of the most commonly forgotten steps is the cleaning of the insides of the labia majora. So remember, you're not just cleaning the catheter, but you also want to clean the insides of the labia majora. One of the most commonly omitted steps or forgotten steps is either the placement and or the removal of the linen protector. And remember, you can either use a Chuck's pad, a towel, or a waterproof pad as your linen protector. One of the most incorrectly performed steps is how the person secures the catheter. Remember, you want to make sure that you secure it at the meatus, so your fingers will be touching the person as shown in this next clip. Hi, good morning, Mrs. Jones. How are you? Awesome. My name is Julie. I'm your CNA, and today I'll be cleaning your catheter, okay? All right, Mrs. Jones, first, I just want to make sure that your bed is in a low, safe position, and it is. Your bed wheels are locked. I'm handing you your call light in your hand, and I'll provide you with some privacy. Mrs. Jones, before I go wash my hands and gather my supplies, is there anything else I can do for you? All right, Mrs. Jones, I'll be right back. Washing hands. All right, so for catheter care, you will need to collect 10 supply items. That's 10 supply items. The first supply item that I'm going to collect is a Chuck's pad. I'm going to use this Chuck's pad as my clean barrier to place over my overbed table. Again, you do not want to shake it out. You just want to unfold it manually. Now, for your clean barrier, you can also use a towel, okay? But I just like using Chuck's pads. Now I'm going to collect in the nightstand, the bath basin and soap. I'm going to collect another Chuck's pad. This Chuck's pad I'm going to use as a linen protector to place underneath the person's buttocks and peri area. For your linen protector, you can also use a towel or a waterproof pad. I'm going to collect one pair of gloves. Just going to place them on top of my Chuck's pad, and I'm going to need 5 washcloths. Okay, 1 washcloth is going to be used to clean the insides of the labia majora. The second washcloth is going to be used to rinse the insides of the labia majora. The third washcloth is going to be used to clean the catheter. The fourth washcloth is going to be used to rinse the catheter, and the fifth washcloth is going to be used to dry the catheter. So I should have all of my supplies, but let's go ahead and count. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 supply items. I have my supplies organized in the manner in which I'm going to use them, okay? This will help you determine what step comes next. So for example, I have my bath basin here. I know that I will, one of my first steps is going to be, I have to do something with this bath basin. So if you know what I need to do with this bath basin, go ahead and write it in the comment section below. I'm not going to tell y'all. Okay. I want to see if y'all know before you watch the remaining of, or the remainder of this video. I cannot talk. All right. So I have all my supplies. I'm ready to get back to the bedside to Mrs. Jones. All right, Mrs. Jones, I have all of my supply items. I just need to go fill the basin with some water and I'll be right back, okay? All right, Mrs. Jones. Okay, so now that I've made it to the sink, I'm going to make sure, because this faucet has two handles, I'm going to turn both handles on. If this faucet had only one handle, I would turn that one handle to the center setting, okay? The nurse aide evaluators are not going to have thermometers to check the temperature of the water, but they will observe if you are turning on both handles for sinks with two handles, or if you're turning that sink that has one handle to the center setting, okay? Because it has to be a moderate or tepid temperature, like lukewarm. So what I'm doing now is turning on both handles. You can either test the water while you're here running it at the sink, or you can wait till you get back to the bedside. Either way, make sure you verbalize what you are doing. I'm testing the water, and now I'm just filling up my basin. All right. Now that I have my basin filled with water, I'm going to head back over to the bedside. Come along with me. All right, Mrs. Jones, it's me, Julie, your CNA. I'm back with some the basin or the water in the basin. I've already tested it. It feels like a good temperature for me, but I would like for you to test it to make sure it's a comfortable temperature for you. At this time, the NAE should speak for the mannequin, but if he or she does not, please do not wait for them to say anything. Just act as if the resident responded that the water temperature was okay and continue on with the skill. It feels good? All right. I'm just going to set it down here. Mrs. Jones, I need to raise the height of the bed to a comfortable working position for myself, okay? Now, Prometric is huge on body mechanics. So if you need to raise the level or height of the bed to a comfortable working position for yourself, please do so. If you do not, you will get a flag for safety, okay? And you will not receive credit for that step. Always remember, no matter what action you perform, the viewer is whatever that viewer, which is the nurse aide evaluator, perceives is being done, okay, or needs to be done. All right. Okay, Mrs. Jones, I'm just raising the level of the bed. You're going to feel the bed rising up, okay? You're doing okay today? Awesome. It's really a pretty day outside today, you know? All right. I think that is high enough for me. Okay, so I know that this is a mannequin. You know it's a mannequin, and the nurse aide evaluator knows that it's a mannequin. But one of your 5 indirect care behaviors is communication. So you need to communicate with your resident, which in this case is a mannequin. All right. You have that awkward silence when you're raising or lowering that bed. This is a good time for you just to give some light conversation, okay? All right, so now that I have the bed raised to a comfortable working height for myself, the next supply item that I have are my gloves. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my gloves. And then the next supply item I have is my linen protector. Again, you can use a towel or a waterproof pad or a Chuck's pad like I am using, okay? Now, when you place the linen protector, it needs to be placed completely underneath the mannequin's buttocks and peri area. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is unfolding the Chucks. Again, you do not want to shake it open. So I'm unfolding it manually. Now I'm going to roll it away from me. Turn it around. And then what I'm doing right now is just lining it up, right? Because I have to have it completely underneath the buttocks and the peri area. So now that I have it lined up, I'm going to push it up underneath the mannequin as much as possible. There we go. And now I'm ready to pull it through. Now, just a tip, if the nurse aide evaluator happens to stand up and walk over close to you, what he or she is observing is whether or not you have the Chuck's pad completely underneath the mannequin's buttocks. If this happens, please double check, okay? Just double check to make sure you do. And I would also verbalize that, you know, the linen protector is completely underneath the resident's buttocks. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncover the mannequin. You do not want to do this during testing. I'm only overexposing the mannequin so you can see how I'm lifting the mannequin's hips. Okay. So what I'm going to do is place my arm up underneath both legs, high on the thigh. And of course, you'll be explaining what you are doing to the resident, okay? Now, I'm just going to lightly raise the person's hips and pull the linen protector through. And then go ahead and lay the mannequin back down again. And now I can just bring it on through, okay? There we go. So it's completely underneath her buttocks and her peri area. All right. So I only overexposed just so you, the viewer, could have a better visualization of how I manually raise the mannequin's hips, okay, to place the linen protector. Now, you can also turn the mannequin onto its side. Just remember that Prometric does not emphasize the use of side rails. So what you'll want to do is move the mannequin closer towards you and then turn them onto their side. Because what Prometric is concerned with is making sure that the resident is not dangerously close to the edge of the bed after turning. Okay, so now that I have the linen protector placed, I'm ready to start cleaning. Now, you're going to need to overexpose your resident. So you'll lower the sheets to knee level. Don't go any further. If you go any further than knee level, they consider that overexposure. And then you're going to raise the gown to hip level, right? Because this is all you need. This is the area that you're going to be working in. So you don't need to raise the gown any higher than hip level. All right. So gown, raise it to hip level. Sheet, lower it to knee level. Don't go any lower with the sheet. Do not go any higher with the sheet. Okay. So let's get to cleaning. Okay, so with my first washcloth, I'm going to wet it, squeeze it out really, really good so there won't be any water dripping. I'm going to completely open it. I'm going to apply soap over all areas of the washcloth. Prometric is big on lather, so you want to make sure that the washcloth is lathered really good, okay? So I'm just rubbing it together to produce lather. I'm going to fold it into fours, and I'm going to hold it in a diamond shape, okay, where I have the 4 open leaves easily accessible to me. I'm going to place my index finger in the middle of the washcloth, and then I'm going to fold this tail underneath, okay? Just like that. Now I have the 4 open leaves on top. So remember, the most forgotten or omitted step for this skill is the cleaning of the insides of the labia majora. So what I'm going to do is clean from front to back. And of course, you'll explain to the resident what you're doing. I'm going to clean on the inside of one labia majora, flip to a new leaf, and clean the inside of the other labia majora. Now I'm going to place this washcloth over my basin. I'm going to take my second washcloth. I'm wetting it. Again, I'm squeezing it out really good. The same manner that I held the washcloth for washing, I'm going to hold it for rinsing as well. Okay. 4 open leaves on top. Now I'm going to rinse the insides of the labia majora. Mrs. Jones, I'm just rinsing the insides of your labia majora. I'm going to flip to a clean area of the washcloth and rinse the other inside of the labia majora. Now I'm going to place this washcloth over my basin. The third washcloth, I'm going to wet it. I'm going to squeeze it out really, really good. Again, I'm going to open it completely and apply soap over all areas of the washcloth. I'm going to rub the washcloth together to produce a really good lather, because Prometric wants to see that lather, okay? Fold it back up into 4s. And now this time I'm going to I'm going to be cleaning the catheter. So you'll want to hold the catheter at the meatus. You will be touching the resident as you're holding it, okay? Just like this. You can see in the camera. I'm going to take this washcloth. I'm going to wrap it around the entire diameter of the catheter and then gently clean downwards. And I'm cleaning the entire length of the catheter minus the ports. And then I'm going to gently place it down without the catheter tugging, and then remove the washcloth. And now I can remove my hand from securing the catheter. Now, in your book, your candidate handbook, it tells you to wash and rinse and dry at least 4 inches of the catheter. But to be on the safe side, just go ahead and wash, rinse, and dry the entire catheter, because what's 4 inches to you may not be 4 inches to that nurse aide evaluator. All right, my 4th washcloth, I'm going to wet it, squeeze it out really good. I'm going to keep it in quads or 4s. Again, I'm going to secure the catheter at the meatus. I'm going to wrap the washcloth around the entire diameter of the catheter, and then I'm rinsing the entire catheter minus the ports, gently placing it down back on the linen protector, removing the washcloth, and now I can move my hand from securing the catheter. Now, the 5th washcloth, I get this question asked a lot. Why don't you use a towel? Look how tiny the diameter of this catheter is, okay? A towel is going to be too big, too bulky for drying. So this is why I use a washcloth to dry the catheter, okay? But what I'm going to do first, remember, because we washed and rinsed the insides of the labia majora, so you'll need to dry the insides of the labia majora. So I'm holding it as I did when I was washing and rinsing, okay, the insides of the labia majora with the 4 open leaves. So this first leaf, I'm just going to pat dry from front to back on one side of the labia majora, and then again on the inside of the other labia majora, okay? I'm going to flip the washcloth over. Now both sides are clean. I'm going to secure the catheter at the meatus, going to wrap this dry washcloth around the entire diameter of the catheter and gently dry downwards on the catheter, okay, without tugging or pulling. Once I have it dried, I'm going to release it onto the linen protector, remove the washcloth, and remove my grass from the catheter. I'm going to place this washcloth on the side of my basin. And guys, you're done. You're done with cleaning the catheter, right? So one of the most forgotten or omitted steps is the removal of the linen protector. Now, with Prometric, if the linen protector is dry, you can keep it under the mannequin, okay? You don't have to remove it. But if it is wet, like mine got a little wet here and also here, you'll want to remove it, okay? And I always tell my students, just go ahead and remove it because that NAE may come up and see a wet spot that you did not see, okay? So that is what I'm going to do. The same way that I raise the mannequin's hips when I place the linen protector, I'm now going to raise her hips to remove it. Mrs. Jones, I'm just placing my arms up underneath your legs. And I'm going to raise your hips on the count of 3 so I can remove the linen protector, okay? 1, 2, 3. And what I'm doing, I'm rolling the linen protector away from me and I'm pulling it towards me at the same time, ensuring that it does not come into contact with my clothing. Now that I have it removed, I can go ahead and set the mannequin back down. I'm going to pull her gown down and raise her sheet to cover her back up. And now I can go dispose of all of my supplies. So I'm going to take my 5 washcloths and the Chucks pad, and I'm going to dispose of the Chucks pad into the wastebasket. Now, if you use a towel or a waterproof pad as your linen protector, you'll want to dispose of it into the soiled linen hamper, okay? And that's what I'm going to do with these 5 washcloths. There we go. And now it's time for me to go to the sink to empty, rinse, and dry the basin. Okay, now that I'm at the sink, I'm going to empty the basin into the sink. And no, you do not have to empty it into the toilet. I'm going to rinse, empty the rinse into the sink. And now I'm going to dry the basin. And you want to make sure that you dry it completely, okay? Because there are some NAEs that will look, okay, to make sure that the basin is completely dry. And I'm just throwing my paper towel into the wastebasket, okay? Now that I have it completely dry, I'm going to head on back over to the bedside to complete this skill. Come follow me. All right, so I'm going to place the soap into the basin and replace both back into the nightstand. I'm going to remove my clean barrier. I'm rolling it away from me and pulling it towards me at the same time. And I'm going to dispose of this into the wastebasket. Again, if you use a towel as your clean barrier, please do not dispose of it into the wastebasket. Make sure you dispose of it into the linen hamper. At this time, I'm going to remove my gloves without contaminating myself. So I'm holding my left hand in a C. I'm pulling from the palm, rolling it up in a ball in my gloved hand. Then I'm going to take my fingers underneath this glove and pull it over. Immediately dispose of it into the wastebasket, then immediately verbalize washing hands. I'm just going to replace the overbed table where I got it. It's nice and dry, okay? If there was wet spots on the table, you'd want to dry that off, okay? And now I can get back to ensure the safety of Mrs. Jones. All right, Mrs. Jones, I'm all done. I'm just going to lower your bed back down to a low safe position. So you're going to feel the bed lower. I'm just checking to make sure that your bedwells are still locked, and they are. And you still have your call light in your hand. There we go. Mrs. Jones, would you like for me to keep your privacy curtain open, or would you like for me to close them up so you can see? All right, let me get these closed up so you can see what is going on. All right. Okay, Mrs. Jones, it looks like I'm all done. Before I leave, is there anything else I can do for you? Okay, would you like some water, or would you like a magazine to read? All right, Mrs. Jones, well, you have a very good day, okay? All right. At this time, you'll verbalize washing hands, skill complete. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you. Ciao.